Greetings all. Um, well, Caroline, you happen to be first on my screen there. I know you just took a bite. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just oatmeal. I'll just have lots of crap in my teeth. So stand up is just going to those demos, which I missed yesterday. I couldn't get to the ones yesterday.
That's fine.
And I've been doing a pretty in-depth review of Adriana's voluntary administration of estate form.
Okay.
And I'd forgotten that I told her that I have a friend who's an estate probate type attorney. I know that I spoke to this woman since we've moved back from England, but what I didn't realize is how many years ago it was. I couldn't remember her last name, so I got in touch with another friend this morning, and we put our heads together. So I've emailed her. My friend's name is Kelly. So I've emailed her. I don't even know if it's a working email address anymore, but I've emailed her. So I'm hoping that we'll talk Sunday night, because we're going to have an old friends reunion, climbing girls reunion Sunday night. So that's where I am with that.
All right.
I don't know how helpful that'll be to Adriana, but if we have an estate attorney reviewing the form, it should help.
Well, it'd probably be helpful to the form. She doesn't have that much time to implement stuff, but if we can capture stuff, that's always great.
Right. And so that's what I'm thinking in terms of her feedback form. She actually, I suggested that she use one of the Google Forms, feedback forms, but I actually think her form is much better for reviewing. I like her form a lot. So
yeah, she did a great amount of work on that.
Yeah, she's done
it really shows.
amount of work, period. And the things that she hasn't done, I think she just dove in and did the difficult stuff first. And the things that need to be addressed, she's going to deal with that, or somebody else can do. She's actually done whoever's working on this next a huge favor.
Agreed.
So there's that. Our DocAssemble production server went down on Wednesday, which isn't assembly line, but it is DocAssemble connected. And so I need some help with that. I've done some of it, but I'd like not to go through what I went through Wednesday morning again. So I could use some help with that at some point.
It's online now, right, Caroline? Or is
yeah, it's up, but that robot monitor you sent me to is it's not the most important, but the DocAssemble production servers, it's saying it's down, and it's set up the same way as our development server. So I don't know why that is. And I sent a long, pathetic, tearful message to Kendall.
How is he doing? I know I was
thinking how is Kendall doing?
To him, but
I haven't heard back.
Yeah.
He's one of those people who feels so guilty and apologetic. You almost don't want to reach out because he feels too bad to get in touch with you. And you're just like, no, you're great. We just, so I don't know. I'm hoping to hear from him, but I can't remember the MIT schedule. I don't know how it works, but it could be they're in reading period now and they have exams after Christmas. I'm not quite sure what the deal is. So I'm just hoping to hear from him, just in general as a human being, because he's such a great guy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I just wanted the record to reflect.
Was incredibly helpful for this action button on Tuesday, but I haven't had a chance to get back to it because of the blinking DocAssemble production server. So that's where we are.
Yeah,
Cool.
You saw that Jonathan implemented your fix that you had asked
no, I didn't see that. Oh, that's fantastic. Great. Okay, that's me.
Well then, Quentin, I got you next here.
Great. So I am trying to start on some of the interview generator stuff that's come up through the semester. So it's been like a great user feedback loop there. And user feedback related, I'm working on adjusting. We have that GitHub form on every screen now that actually is form specific, which is great. And I'm thinking I'm going to make
icons.
One like, what's that?
With icons. With
icons even, yes. And I'm going to be customizing it so there's a different one on the test server that will replace we experimented with using a Google form and a Google Sheet and having folks like the appeals court send us feedback that way. But I think, the idea was we're not going to overwhelm our GitHub repository with a bunch of issues before we've had a chance to filter them. But looking at the volume, and the appeals court was like super responsive and involved. I don't think we need to do that. So we'll just have them go right to GitHub. So I'm working on that right now.
Cool. All right, Luke.
Okay, I don't have too much to share. Kind of just still working on the two forms, one with Michelle, 209A motion to modify, and then my original name change one. So don't really have any blockers, kind of just here to say still working, say hi to everyone.
Good, good.
Yeah, great.
And I do have to leave at 1 because I have another meeting, but I'm happy to hear what everyone else is doing.
Great. Lily, I actively realize that you, because you don't have video on, you always get pushed to the bottom of my thing. So I've moved you up so you're not last. So Lily, go.
That's okay. I am so used to be last, and I like it to be last. I don't mean I'm here. I mean in my life, basically, because I'm a quiet person. I like to stay back and stay in the back row, and so this doesn't bother me at all. Thank you.
You're not a quiet person?
Sorry, what did you say?
Did you just say you're not a quiet person?
I said I am a quiet person.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine.
So I like to stay back.
Well, anyhow, Lily, you have the floor now. So if there's anything you go ahead.
All right. I just have a general question. I don't know if this is the right time or not. But after I saw Quentin posted a few of other people's packages, I liked that last one very much. What is it called? They file bankruptcy for free.
Yeah. No.
So basically, they have this automated preview of how the interview is going to work. For people who never used it before, I think that's a big relief to see it. If I go to use a new program, I have no idea what's going to happen next. I would like to see something like that. So I'm just wondering, is that something we would like to consider, like a new feature to add to our interviews? So
maybe for those of us who missed the uploading, can someone explain more what that feature looked like?
It basically goes through, okay, first you answer questions and you select whatever, and then in the end you download the packages. So it's a very few like screenshots of how this interview is going to proceed.
I see Quentin is screen sharing. Oh, yes. Oh, okay, yes.
So that's the end.
Yep,
so if I can get it to start over. Here we go. So it starts from the beginning with that preview of your phone, and it simulates you checking boxes.
Oh, I see. So it's just a nice little. Yeah, that is nice.
Which actually is kind of in keeping with the ABA's recommendation for how online forms are supposed to work too, where you can see the final form. So,
Quentin, can you make that small so we can get a sense of what it would look like on a phone?
let me see.
Oh, I like they got rid of the tilt.
Yeah.
They were clever. They were thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah.
That is super interesting.
I assume they just, like you said, there's a little animation there, which is really nice too.
Not interactive, just animation, right?
Just animation. It's not interactive.
Yeah, it's just animation. This is all in CSS, it looks like.
Really?
Which is kind of crazy, but.
Wait, so are those rendered buttons in the back CSS, or is that a GIF that they've?
No, it looks like every single, like even the little confetti pieces are like CSS.
Nice.
Like, divs that are, I guess, just being
animations.
animated.
That's hilarious. Is the contents of the buttons CSS? Something has to be HTML in there.
Oh, well, yeah. There's
Okay.
definitely some HTML, but it is like most of it, all the actual animation and stuff seems to be CSS.
That's hilarious. And it's on a loop too. Interesting.
Someone's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, no, having like a
Right.
quick,
Right.
Keep
I
it
guess like a
synced.
quick, just not like a mandatory video, but like a background video that
Yeah.
is a quick overview of what's happening.
It's such a good
Is a good
idea.
idea.
Well,
Lily, that's it's great you noticed that and pointed that out. I think that's a great idea.
I like this for on the cover page of an individual form,
Yeah.
right? Because people find that from all sorts of different places.
We could also just do it once and say like, hey, all of our forms work this way.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Well, that's why I'm
Yeah,
thinking like the
it's
cover
a
page.
general
The
one.
problem is with our users, if they say bankruptcy and they're on name change, they're going to get confused. If the gifts,
Yeah,
if the,
but we
But we
could
can do
have
it
something
generic,
like
No, we
like-
that.
do it our version.
Formy McForm, right? You know, I mean,
oh, I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
or I know
With
Bryce has been having
buttons that
fun with
maybe
la
don't
la
really have text on them and
la
stuff.
la or whatever, ba la blob.
Or we can make it
Blah,
something
blah,
that would take an input for your interview name, something like that. You know, we can definitely customize.
Although if it was in CSS, you could just change the text really easy.
Oh my God, David.
Well, anyway,
All
we
right,
know the process.
That's where my
question.
next month
Done.
is going.
Yes. Yes.
I think we,
yes.
no, I think we can do an animated GIF. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man.
I should say I have to leave at 1 too. I almost forgot.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, Lily, that was a good find, a nice thing to think about, because that also addresses the issue of adding a little color or a splash or something to that front page
Yeah.
for each of the forms. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
well,
Bryce,
If we,
you were saying
if we are ready for
there's
designers, I can ask
definitely-
around. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I'm all set.
Okay, sorry. So if we do want to look around for designers, I had stopped looking for, I only kind of did a half job looking for designers because it seemed like we didn't have the capacity to
I think that was entirely
address
fair.
anyone
That was
that
entirely fair.
would come. So if we want us to start looking for designers, I can start looking at keeping an eye out for designers. The other thing is if we have roles we want to fill and have the bandwidth to fill, I've heard really good things about Democracy Lab for finding volunteers. I don't know if I can totally manage that. So like part of having bandwidth for new volunteers, having the bandwidth to to organize that. And so if we do, we can try and use Democracy Lab a bit to pull some people in.
I think the spring semester is the natural, the semester is the natural sort of switch over for us. We also have at the beginning of the year here, we want to do a switch over to Teams. So I feel like we should, Michelle, it's been coming.
I know, I still hate it. Their notifications, I like talk to people about the notifications. Apparently they're terrible. Okay, channel management, whatever. But like, yeah, we'll see how it goes and everything.
It's going to give us persistent data.
Good thing.
Persistent historic data. That will be a good, nice thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost us anything. So that's another nice thing.
Yeah. And it gets us off costing
Yes,
ATJ stuff, which is, I'm not saying they're not
Yes.
pros.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like, I can control
understand.
my notifications so well right now. But yeah.
Well, now you've made me anxious because I haven't played around enough with Teams to have worried about notifications. Now I'm worried.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's going to happen sometime. So, but maybe it'll be fine. Maybe
My
it'll be
point was that
sufficient.
we should probably figure out how we want to structure that move. Do that move before we do any try to push new people, because it would be very unfun experience to bring on a bunch of new people and then say move from this thing that you don't quite understand to this new thing as soon as you start to understand it. So
what's the date for the spring semester starting?
well, we're starting in the sort of middle of January now. So like January 25th, I think, is our first day. So hopefully, I think what will probably likely happen based upon timing is that we won't be able to do that transfer over until January, just because with the holidays and the end of the semester. So probably those first 2 weeks in January is when we'll be thinking about actively moving things over. And we don't have to shut down luckily, a lot of our stuff we do on, Zoom and other things. It's just it is what it is.
So are you guys, Quentin and David, are you going to be finished? Are you going to continue to be working after classes finish before classes start again.
Yeah.
So you'll
Yeah.
have, I think you said something about having a little bit of free time.
Yeah, there's that week with of the 25th. I think we get most of that off. And with I think we also get most of the week with New Year's off.
Okay, so you're not working those, you're gonna
Yeah.
try
So
not to
those
work
2
those 2
weeks.
weeks.
Those 2 weeks. Bryce, I think like you get the official, because you haven't, Bryce unfortunately hasn't accrued
Right.
vacation time yet, but there are university holidays that you don't have to worry about. So you
Yeah.
get some of that time
Mhm.
too. And actually you
So-
were already, never mind. You'd already worked out a thing and we're working on a thing. I realized I misspoke.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you-
I have
you-
some. I have like a weird thing of like I'll be gone the week of Christmas, I think. And which is it should hopefully be worked out with HR. I'll have to make sure.
Yeah,
to see.
I think it's,
Um,
yeah. So
yeah,
yes.
but after that I'll be like back and strong.
So yeah, we'll be gone for a little, but we'll be back not so long.
Okay, so my question was, I was working with Audrey, I can't remember if it was Thursday or Wednesday, and I helped her with, I know, I helped her with one thing, which was a pretty easy, it was make Ginger in a docx. But, and I tried to explain to her about projects, playgrounds, and packages, and how sometimes 2 different things are called the same thing, that kind of stuff. But what I wasn't sure about, and I said she should check a little bit with Matt, but I don't think Matt's 100%, or he's not confident in it. Whether when you guys have some free time, we can talk a little bit about moving the LARC basic questions and framework into its own package and whether it's installed on Illinois server, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to wait, not while you're teaching, but before you dive in again, to talk to you guys a little bit about that.
Actually, I have a meeting set up with Matt on Monday to talk about a little bit of that. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So
But yeah,
I'll tell Audrey to just get in touch with Matt to make sure that he asks you those questions. And my other request is if you could encourage Matt to get sorted on GitHub as soon as possible without pressuring him, but just make it be like this gentle, it would be really helpful because we had some big issues using Google Drive Sync, Audrey and I. For some reason, it didn't say it wasn't syncing, but the template changes I made were not working. And so GitHub would be really nice.
If it would help to have someone walk him through it, if that's today's a little busy, but I might be able to do another day.
Michelle, that was on his list. He had like 5 questions he wanted to talk about and set up.
So
some
you
time.
could open with, so I hear you want to use GitHub. Hear that first.
All right.
I'll mention that, Michelle, you might have some time to meet with him if we can't fit it into our time.
Okay, I think I lost thread here. I think we just finished with Lily.
Sorry.
We were going to do Bryce and then Michelle.
Okay. Yeah. So first week, starting on like 2, kind of trying to keep them in parallel so I can at least keep going on one project. The main project is the e-filing stuff. I've been in a decent number of meetings with Quentin and David trying to get up to speed on everything, the like standard that we're going to try and use is essentially to turn like whenever someone finishes the interview, instead of, I guess, in addition to turning it into like a PDF document that is sent to someone, it would actually be turned into like this format that's then sent directly to the court and through all the e-filing stuff. And so I'm still kind of brush up on that. And that's mostly just a learning thing of me reading standards documents for the moment. And then the other thing I'm sort of focused a bit on, which was probably a little bit better of like a bootstrap project for my first week, was interview statistics. So I will share my screen really quick because I can brag about this. Sort of I piggyback off of a package that Quentin wrote earlier that essentially sort of on each interview when someone submits it, we can save just like the smallest amount of data that we have right now. It's just when they submitted it and the zip code. And then essentially you can we like sort of on the administrative side, so not like users, but like people who are running the servers, if whether that's us wanting to know who's filling out our forms or other people who start using this or other organizations that start using assembly line can also just sort of easily see who's using what where. I brought up a little quick map. So like this is on the test server where there's only like 7 example submissions for this particular form, but it brings up a quick map that is of the zip codes that are mapped to like how many users have filled out each. Get some nice hover overs. You get the little nice split bar at the bottom, and you can sort of sort by okay, which zip codes have the most users, which zip codes have like the biggest percentage of users, and various things like that. And I have a few other ideas for this, some involving time, like sort of having time plots for specific zip codes. I'm sort of playing around with it. And then also the other big thing is mostly trying to figure out like how to balance like usefulness for people who are or usefulness for like the administrators and trying to actually get useful data back, and versus sort of privacy for everyone who's filling out this form, or everyone who's filling out this form, such that we're not getting more data than we need, and we're not like getting identifiable data or anything. And so that's going to be sort of what I probably focus on next week for a bit. I don't think I have any blockers besides just general legal questions that I steer people's ways occasionally. So
that's a nice tie-in because you're using OpenStreetMaps and then also the Census API, right?
Yes, yeah. So that's all done. So the Census API is getting us the actual like zip file stuff, or the
shape files for the
is the zip code shape files, and specifically I was trying to go for the Census API because it gives us the chance to, if we want to, we can get more ingrained, and we can go probably to like the census tract level, which would be a little bit more, can directly tie back to like representatives of and legislatures and stuff for like, hey, all these people in your district are using this. This is a good thing. And so yeah, we'll have the ability to go up and down. It's still a bit vague, and we'll probably nail some things down later, but it's a start. So
that's great, Bryce. Thanks for I saw like when you first started working on it, but that's like a lot of really good progress.
Week 1.
Yeah, week 1.
Amazing.
Nice.
And I think next week I also might start on doing an appeals court form, just like making an interview. I don't remember which one was next. I believe it was not this,
not the single justice.
Not motion to reconsider, but either a motion to docket appeal late or motion to file a late notice. Whichever of the templates we already have, we still need to get a few more in the appeals court, but that's it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Michelle.
Me. Been working with, did Luke go already? All right, so Luke, the thing with Luke. Been working mostly on tests, discovering that language is because of translations and how that stuff works, to not count on defaults except for where defaults actually are important. So like those, if there are defaults that are important in your interviews, folks, make sure to note those so that like when people write tests, they don't write tests that will let those pass, because instead of counting on defaults, the tests will press on everything that is a default, so that when translations happen, that isn't a reason to fail. But those are improving a lot, getting rid of race conditions that are caused by something with the server. Don't know, but Jonathan gave a good workaround for one of those. Trying to think what else. Students and reviewing code and reviewing, not reviewing code, but working on code and understanding it, and docx things. The documentation for docx variables is probably something that should be worked on at some point.
Yeah, that's
because
one that I hear a lot about.
Okay. If
So,
you're
yeah, that
hearing
should-
about it, then that's fine.
Yeah, it definitely no. The point is, I'm agreeing. It's something that should be
Yeah.
worked on.
I mean, I don't have to bug you. If other people are already bugging you about it, I'll give you a break. But yeah, trying to think if there has been anything else of note. Not that I can remember right now.
Cool. Well, we went live with the appeals court, although I guess we'd probably done that before Tuesday's meeting, right? Or did we do it on Monday? Or we did it on Monday.
Talked about it last week, I guess, a little bit too.
But we actually went live. Everyone, I think, saw the note we got from one of the clerks, and
That was lovely.
yeah, it was really great. And this is fun part. After all of that nice press and nice whatever, and the trial court emailed me up out of the blue, wanting to pick back up on some stuff they had not gotten back to me on since June. And there were multiple emails that led me to believe that perhaps someone had seen the good work over at the appeals court and realized that it would be nice to pick up some of the things that had maybe fallen by the wayside in the trial court. So fingers crossed there.
Bye, Luke.
Bye, Lily.
Bye, Luke.
Oh, I wanted to say I've heard great things about Aubrey and Mia.
Oh, yes.
And their participation in other people's learning. I've heard fantastic stuff. So
I have as well, which really makes me happy that the team is really serving as a team. And we can now stop. We lost another. Now we can stop our official meeting that's now into Casual Fridays.